Work-life balance is an important aspect of a healthy work environment, namely because it helps reduce stress and prevent burnout. Today, my special guest expert, Marla White, talks about the secret sauce to maintain work-life balance in her own life.
Hi, I am Marla White, founder of White-Handed PR, and you are watching The Chundria Show.
Welcome to the show, Marla!
Thank you so much for having me.
I'm so excited.
Oh, I'm so excited.
And then the last time you were here, you brought a client with
I
you.
did,
And
yes.
I asked you to come back on the show because I felt like you would be the perfect person to discuss the topic, the secret sauce to maintaining work-life balance.
Well, thank you so much. It's my pleasure to be here.
Tell me about yourself and your amazing business, White-Handed PR.
Well, I have been in marketing and PR my entire life. And in 2015, I decided to go out on my own. And my youngest daughter had moved out of the house, so it gave me the perfect opportunity to have my own office at home and work from home. And I have all kinds of clients. I have clients in the entertainment space, in the pet space, in the children's apparel and accessories, and women's and men's footwear. So I'm kind of all over the board, and I kind of like that. But it's great. I do traditional and new media PR, and I also do social media management.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Oh. Now, as a business owner, do you set work hours and stick to them?
I do. I'm pretty much at my desk between 7:30 and 8 every morning, unless I have a press release to get out. So I like to get that out around New York time. So that's 6 a.m. our time for 9 a.m. their time. And I go till about 6 or 7 our time at night. But, you know, PR, my clients have 24/7 businesses, and especially with social media management, you know, their businesses are 24/7, so I'm pretty much 24/7, so I'm available to them all the time. And, you know, I have to check social because you never know what's going on there, so it's pretty much 24/7.
Do you ever have 2 days that are alike? Is it just...
Oh, gosh, no.
Okay.
Never, never, never. It's always different, particularly on the social media aspect. But again, I like that. All my clients are different, and so their businesses are different, and so my days are very different.
Oh my gosh, that's so awesome. But how do you prioritize your time, or your personal time, rather?
Oh, personal time.
Because you're working, what you say, from 6 a.m. to 7 at night?
Yeah,
But you're at home, though,
I am at home. So I'm a planner, and I'm very OCD. So I do like to plan, and I do plan personal time. My husband and I plan date nights, so that's how we do that. Both my daughters are out of the house and have children of their own, so it's easy to plan time with them. One lives in the San Bernardino Mountains, so she's a couple hours away. The other one lives in Arizona, so it takes time to get there too. So it's easy to plan time with them.
Okay.
So I schedule time with my husband, with other family members, with my children. It's really hard to do something spontaneous, I'll be very honest with that, because, you know, my business is it's my livelihood,
Right.
so it is a huge priority. So spontaneity is hard.
But it sounds like your family is really understanding.
Oh,
you know?
absolutely, and they're 100% on board,
Okay.
and they've all worked with my clients at various times in their lives, and they've all participated. And so I would say it's more of a family business.
Oh, I love that.
So they've all been involved, and they're all right there with me.
Fantastic.
That's great.
Oh my goodness. So how far in advance do you plan your calendar? Because you're planning personal and your professional life. So
Absolutely.
Do you have things like ahead a year?
Oh, yeah. Some of my clients were working in spring and, believe it or not, fall 2020.
Wow.
They work in seasons, so we're looking certainly at those calendar times and thinking of what styles and what trends will be happening during those times. So my head is in 2020 with some clients, and some clients are more current, and some of my clients are working on screenplays that will be coming out, films that will be coming out later this year in 2020. So sometimes my head is today, and sometimes my head is in 2020.
Okay. So and you have to operate at all times.
Absolutely.
You're thinking ahead, you're thinking in the present, you're planning,
Absolutely.
you're learning from the past, you're
Yes.
just doing everything.
Thankfully, I can multitask
Okay.
and juggle several balls in
And
the
you have
air.
those dogs at home to help, right?
I do. I have my furry interns that are always with me and thankfully can, calm me down and keep that anxiety and stress at a very calm level. It's great.
Okay, that's fantastic.
Yeah.
So I guess this goes without saying. Do you take time off on the weekends or holidays?
I do. I do work on holidays and weekends, but with today, as with our phones and our laptops, they can go anywhere with us, and mine do at all times. And so if that can go with me, and I can go anywhere. I went to Greece in October, and I was there for 10 days, and so did, my work came with me.
Okay.
And as long as I can spend an hour or two with my clients a day, then they know the rest of the time is for me to enjoy. And again, as long as I can schedule that, it's great, and it works perfectly.
Sounds like you're constantly keeping the lines of communication open.
Oh,
Like, I'm
absolutely.
gonna be on vacation, but
Communication is everything.
you're in the hotel room checking email.
Absolutely. My phone is buzzing, my watch is buzzing.
Dedicated.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So how does your workspace work for you? Because you sent me a picture of your workspace at home. How does that
Yes.
work for you though? Is that
It's
that's
good.
space enough for you?
It's great. It's very nice. But I will say sometimes on Fridays I'll camp out in the living room, to change it up. I do conference calls and Skype calls in the dining room, or as I like to refer to it, the conference room. I do have clients over. They love to come and be with the dogs and be in that space, or camp out in the living room or the dining room. I go to my clients' places a lot.
Okay.
I'll go to their office or their homes, or I'll be on set with a client. So it works out a lot, but I love having it there. I love being able to, if a client has an issue or something I need to deal with, to just be able to walk down the hall.
Right.
It's great.
I love that you're like family. Just a real sense of family dynamic.
Absolutely.
You're
I've been
so open to.
Absolutely. I've been very fortunate in that all of my clients in the last few years have been word of mouth. And so they all kind of know each other. And I've been referred to by several of clients that know each other, and that's been great. And it is like a family. It's very nice.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
So do you handle your own finances?
I do. I didn't at first.
Okay.
For 15 years, I didn't. I had a CPA that did that, but he taught us a lot, and now it's really my husband, or as I refer to him, my VP of Finance. And so I track everything monthly, and then he, thank God, does everything at tax time. And he's a whiz and does it beautifully. But we did have somebody who did it for a long time, but for the last 2 years, he's done it and does a great job.
Great job, VP of Finance.
Thanks, hon.
How do you tap into technology to make things easier for you? Does it help
Oh, gosh.
with personal time?
It does, and with work time, obviously, it's my watch and my phone are with me all the time. I am addicted, but in my business, I have to be. It's a necessity for sure. As I mentioned before, a few of my clients, they're in retail, and so their business really is 24/7. And probably 90% of my clients, I manage their social. So that is really 24/7 as well, and responding to whether it's consumers or customers asking questions, and you have to be able to respond to them immediately or you lose that business. And my client's success is my success, so I have to be able to respond immediately and appropriately. So technology has really enabled me to do that for them, and it's really eased that business and creates a wonderful communication tool, not only for myself and my clients, but then for their customers as well.
Right.
It's great.
So do you exercise or eat healthy?
Well, I do, certainly not as much as I should. I walk my boys, the dogs, twice a day. I do go up, are you familiar with Barham? The hill that goes across, that separates the valley from the A side, whatever. It's a very steep hill, and so that's where I do my cardio a few times a week. I do yoga. I certainly don't do it as much as I should. I should be better, but yes, I do.
But considering your schedule and how like you're technically kind of working around the clock, it
I
feels
know,
like,
but
or at
I know
least
I should do it.
3/4 of the day you're working,
I
and then
know.
there's time for family and friends,
Yes,
etc. So
I
think
can't do it all, right?
You can't do it all in a day.
I try.
But you'll schedule that out.
I try. I will.
Yoga
I'll do
sessions.
better.
Yoga tomorrow. Yoga Sundays.
tomorrow.
So, do you have business buddies? Anybody that you can vent to?
I
Business
do.
ideas with?
Well, my husband gets a lot of the venting. Bless
He's the
his
ultimate
heart.
business buddy, right?
He is the ultimate business buddy, that is for sure. But I do have some, I do belong to a national publicist group that I get a lot of feedback from, and then they actually, we will put out, like, what do you do in this situation? Or, what do you suggest in this situation? So I do have that available to me, and then I have a lot of local buds that, are in the business, or even a completely different business that I talk to, and then I'm very, very close to a lot of my clients, and we, go back and forth with a lot of things as well too.
So you do have a support system.
Oh,
you have resources,
absolutely.
You have
Absolutely.
your family, you have your clients.
Absolutely,
life's
the best.
amazing, huh?
Yeah, and I'm also, a person of faith, and to me that's always, God's my go-to, and believe me, I wouldn't be here today if it weren't for him. So this business I absolutely owe it to him, and he's gotten me through so much. So that's my number one go-to, my number one business buddy.
Business buddy. What are some things you love to do outside of work? You talked about spending time with your family.
For
Anything
sure.
Like self-care that Marla just does when Marla
Well, my self-care is television.
Ooh, what are you
Movies and
watching?
TV. Oh gosh, well, Game of Thrones for
Okay.
sure. Absolutely. Oh my goodness.
She lit up.
Right? Oh yeah, absolutely. Like this season, I just last Sunday, I don't think I breathed the entire episode. So that's certainly, Game of Thrones is definitely it for me. Movies, I don't sleep much, so I'm up.
You don't say.
Right. Who does anymore? So, I will stalk my DVR, and that's what I do. During the night when I can't think, can't sleep, and I'm up, my head is spinning. Then that's what I do. I just watch everything that's on my DVR, or movies. I like to just sit, and that's my escape. Get into somebody else's story, somebody else's, exciting drama-filled life, Real Housewives. Oh, I just live for it. I
think it's so neat though, because you live such a fast-paced life where you're on the go, and then like every
I can
little while
sit and
you
get
have
into
this
somebody
moment
else's
where you just
drama. Lisa Vanderpump. Oh, give it to me.
put
I
the
just dig
yoga
it.
pants on and
Yeah.
just crash the couch.
Oh, yeah. Oh, absolutely. Love it all the way.
Very, very good. So how do you assess yourself, like your achievements, your productivity? How do you know
Well,
when
I
you're
think
winning or...
obviously the bottom line. I mean, certainly, what I'm taking in financially is always, your biggest assessment. But also for me is really how my clients feel about me, and how, are they staying? And are they, renewing their contracts, or are they referring me to other, business people? And I had a call a few months ago from a past client. It'd been years since I'd worked with her. We stay in touch and certainly are friends on Facebook and things like that. But she referred me to somebody completely out of the business realm, but she knew them, and they needed a publicist. And that kind of thing it's just gold to me. I mean, when someone that I haven't even worked with in years refers me to someone and I get the business, that's just gold. And then I have a business partner, not a business partner, but like a client partner that I have worked with. I worked with her 20 years ago, worked with her again 15 years ago, and then she came back 6 years ago, and then 3 years ago. I mean, that kind of thing is just priceless to me. And the fact that she would think of me every time she needs a publicist, or that anyone would, that's really how I assess how I'm doing, or how I'm performing. That to me is
Speaks
really
volumes.
it
You're
does.
doing an incredible
Absolutely.
job at your business, and that's amazing.
Thank you.
Keep up the good work. Well, how do you manage your mind when self-doubt and anxiety creep in?
Well, I go back to my faith for sure. That's the first thing I do. I'll take a second, and that's definitely my go-to. Or, fortunately, because I work at home, I'll literally take a second and step away. And I'm fortunate that I can go outside for a minute, or I can walk around the block, or, just the ability to be able to step away for a minute and, really just get that mindset back where it needs to be is something I think we all, if we were able to do that. Like, I was in a business, I worked for a company a few years ago, 6 years ago, and we had an open work plan, so there were a bunch of us in an open space, and it was very difficult to do that. Like, you constantly heard everybody else's phone calls, you heard when someone was having a horrible business day or something. That was hard, and that's one thing I'm very grateful for, is that I have a quiet space. I have some place I can go when I need a minute. When I need to put out a fire, I can take a second and go, okay, oh, Jesus, take the wheel, or whatever I need to do, and that's something I do probably 80 times a day.
Well, fantastic. Well, I want to wish you the very best.
Thank you so much.
Success in your business, in your personal and professional life. If anybody out there needs a publicist, I want you to pitch to that person right now why they should call you and how they can get in contact with you.
Because I have to tell you, I love this business. I love pitching. It doesn't matter what category it is. I love to pitch. So I will be your biggest fan, and there's no better publicist than your biggest fan. So, whitehanded.com. Check me out.
Check her out.
Thank you so much. You're amazing.
I'm Kimberly A. Morrow, author of 8 Pearls of Wisdom, a parenting guide. Empowering children is the way to go. And you're watching the Chundria Show.
It's a great day on the Chundria Show, and I am most excited about today's guest, Kimberly A. Morrow. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you so much for having me.
Of course. Thank you so much for being on my show today.
Now, before we get started, I would like to present you with my new book.
Oh, wow. Look at that. It's beautiful. Look at this cover. 8 Pearls of Wisdom, a parenting guide. Empowering children is the way to go. Yes. Beautiful. Get some zoomage. This is a beautiful cover.
And I autographed it for you.
You did?
Yes.
Chundria, the secret to balance is self-care, or as my dad used to say, self-preservation is the first law of man. Thank you for giving me a platform to empower children. Oh, this is amazing. So amazing. Thank you so much.
You are very welcome.
Get
Thank
some close-up
you.
shots of that. Okay. Okay. Kimberly, you are a parent, educator, and now author of 8 Pearls of Wisdom. Today we're going to be talking about raising exceptional children as an amazingly brilliant woman. Are you excited?
I'm very excited.
So tell me about yourself and this beautiful book you just gave me, 8 Pearls of Wisdom, a parenting guide. Tell me about the book. How you wrote it.
I will. So about me, I'm a parent. I've been in teaching for 22 years. I've worked as a teacher, as an administrator. And one of the reasons why I wanted to write the book is because I struggled as a parent. I have he's 20 years old now, but when he was 3 and a half, he was diagnosed with a learning disability. And so the journey to try to get him motivated about school, get him interested, it was really a struggle.
Okay.
And I figured if I was struggling as a teacher and at one point as an administrator, as a woman who has a master's degree from Harvard in education, what must other parents be going through?
Right.
Who don't have what I have and who don't work in the school system. And so I was inspired to write the book really because of him.
Wow. So you had what? When did you just wrote when did you start working on the book?
In July. In July.
Okay. So you've had a lot of years of hands-on experience in this.
Yes.
And then you wrote really kind of like a textbook in a sense.
Exactly. So I had already gotten him through high school. And he was in his first year at Morrow Park College.
Okay.
He had actually completed his first year at Morrow Park College.
Awesome.
And so I decided it's time. It's
time.
actually time.
It's your time.
Yes.
Oh my gosh. So you told me about your inspiration for writing it, and it seems like you really have an affinity for helping parents in education. Do you have like peers, or have you gotten any feedback from any other parents about, the struggle that you went through?
I have. I'm on a number of parent groups, and whenever I just engage with parents, I'm always hearing about how difficult it is to get their student or to get their child motivated. And I know when I was working with parents, it's not that they didn't want to work with their children, because a lot of times as teachers, we think, oh, they're not interested in helping their child.
Right.
But what we find is that, or what I found is that they just didn't know how, and they didn't know what questions to ask. And so that has really driven me to want to make sure that I help them figure out what questions they need to ask, because it's very intimidating. It's intimidating being in a room full of people with degrees, and then you come in and you don't have that background, and then they're telling you what you should do about your child, and they're not asking you about your child. So I really have this drive and have this passion to help those parents.
So it's really a confidence builder, it sounds like. You're giving empowerment to parents.
It is.
And other educators.
It is. One of the, I'm quoting myself.
Okay.
One of the things I say in my book is that a parent armed with information, because knowledge is power. So if I can arm this parent with information, then their child can excel beyond anything that they ever believed they could. And so that's what I want to do. I want to give these parents the confidence that they need to build their child up.
I love that you wrote this book with future children in mind. I love that, as selfless as that is, and you are a parent, but you really took it a step further. You pulled the resources for you to get through, raising your son, and then now you're, empowering other parents and or educators to do the same for children. So it's like you're changing the trajectory of children's lives, for years to come, and I think that's just so admirable.
Thank you. Thank you.
So admirable.
I appreciate that.
As a powerhouse career woman yourself, master's degree, what's your secret sauce for developing personal power in your children? It's not an easy task.
It is not an easy task, but what I learned is that I have to listen to them. And so that's one of the things that I wasn't doing initially, especially with my older children. It's kind of like, let me just tell you what you need to do.
Okay.
And so the secret that I learned with my youngest son was, let me listen to you.
Oh, okay.
That's the secret. We have to listen to our children, because they will tell us.
So what are you listening for? Like for advice for other parents? What are you listening for?
I'm listening to hear what his actual desires are, or what their desires are. And so, for example, my son's desires are to work with animals.
Okay.
And so, again, going back to his learning disability, he read at a 4th grade level.
Okay.
And so when he told me he wanted to be a zoo vet, I'm thinking in my mind, how are you going to be a zoo vet when you can barely read? I don't think that's going to happen. I said that in my mind. I didn't say it out loud. But to him, I just said, okay, well, what do we need to do to get you there?
Right.
And so I listened to what he wanted to do, and I never extinguished his fire, even though in the back of my mind, I'm thinking, I don't know how this is going to work. But it's been working. He actually did a volunteer position at the LA Zoo, which was very competitive. It was not easy, and they did not follow his accommodations on his IEP. So he actually had to compete with all of the other kids.
Okay.
And so what I tell parents is, when your child is saying, I want to play basketball, or I want to act, or I want to do video games, instead of saying, well, okay, dear, but you need to, have a plan B. Okay, let's work with that.
No, let's work with what, you're saying let's work with what you want to do.
Let's work with that. Okay, so you want to be a gamer? Okay, let's look at the business aspect of that. Let's look at the writing that's required. Let's look at the math that's required for that, and then change it.
Change the
Change
conversation.
the conversation. Yes.
Rather than shooting down their ideas or what they're interested in.
Exactly.
Support them.
So my son loved animals, so he had a library full of books about animals. Every time we went to the bookstore was a new book about animals.
I love that.
So that encourages reading.
I love that so much. We talked about your secret sauce. What ways do you like teach? So, I mean, that sounds like that's a part of the mental strength that you're teaching him too, is that belief system in himself. Like, you know,
Yes.
It's a lot easier to believe in yourself if you have somebody supporting your decisions and empowering your decisions.
Yes, but not only that, as parents, we have to demonstrate it. And so I learned not to give up from my mom.
Okay.
So I watched her. She didn't tell me, don't give up. I saw her
not
never give up.
Okay.
I saw her perseverance. And my mom went through a lot. She buried my sister. When my sister was 15, my sister passed away.
Oh my gosh, I'm sorry.
And so my mother got up and went to work. Her and my father got a divorce. And she did not let that stop her. She went and got 3 degrees.
Okay, Mom.
After we were grown. And so she didn't tell me what I needed to do. She showed me.
you.
And so as
I love
parents, we can't just tell our kids what to do. We have to show them.
Yes.
And so we have to lead by example.
And you are doing just that. Look at you. My goodness. Why is this book so important for you? Like, what's the takeaway? When they close this book and they're done and they've closed it out and they're finished reading, what's the takeaway for every parent that you wish?
I want them to be transformed by this book. So after they read this book, I don't want them to go, oh, okay, so I'm gonna just take that little nugget. I want their lives to be changed. I want them to have a whole new way of working with their child and empowering their child. So it's really about transformation. So that's the takeaway from the book. I want them to be transformed.
I'm excited. Well, congratulations on an amazing book.
Thank you.
I hope that it continues to change the lives of not only parents and educators, but also children all over the world.
Yes, thank you so much.
Thank you so much for being on my show today.
Yes,
and beautiful book.
And please tell your audience that it is available on Amazon, at Barnes & Noble, and they can visit me at kimamarrow.com.
kimamarrow.com. Visit her online today. Get the book. It's available on Amazon. Beautiful cover. Continue to pour into your children, and this is a great place to start. So,
thank you.
thanks for watching. Visit us online at chundriashow.com. Let's stay connected on Instagram and Twitter. I'm at Chundria TV, and please like my fan page at facebook.com/The Chundria Show. Until next time, friends, show love and kindness, walk in your purpose, and encourage everyone you meet to follow their dreams.